Temple of Hera I is a primary example of archaic Doric temple structure. So what we're seeing is something that's going to be a little bit longer, closer to that 3-to-1 proportion than what we see otherwise. And what we see is a peristyle colonnade, so that colonnade running around the outside. Unique to archaic temples is this row of columns running down the center that divide the cella into 2 aisles. This may have been logical in supporting a central beam along the roof, but had a disadvantage. You can't put a central cult statue in the temple. It would have to be one side or the other, or maybe you have 2 of them. It also ruled out a central doorway in order to enter the space, so we have 2 doorways entering. We do have columns with what's called entasis, which means they are going to sort of move up and taper towards the top. What this does is it creates the illusion of a column that's going to be more human-like, but also it's going to be something that makes the column look straighter when seen from a distance. So they're doing these little things, entasis, and we'll see other things, that are going to straighten out those columns, make them look more perfect. And it makes sense because this is an offering to the god. The space itself, had you been able to look into it, would have seemed very closed off, very heavy. And that's because they don't have a lot of confidence in the strength of their materials yet. They're still learning that, and so the columns are oversized. If I back up here for a minute, if you look at it, the columns are almost just as wide as the space in between them. They take up 50% of that space, and we'll see them thinning out as we go through time. So if you were to see a temple and it has really thick columns, you know that that's going to be an earlier temple. Or if you see a central row of columns down the cella, it's an earlier archaic temple, but it is laying the groundwork for what will later become the classical temple, what we think of as the Greek temple today.